What do you actually need to go camping? Well, first let me tell you guys what you don't need. See that there behind me? Fully set up 4-wheel drive, big tires, lift kit, fully set up camp kitchen. There's a fridge to keep the food cold. There's running water. There's a nice little shelter over the camp kitchen. Over there, expensive swag, comfortable camp chair. Now, while these things do make it quick and easy to go camping, you don't need any of this rubbish to actually get out there and enjoy a good weekend in the great outdoors. So in this video, we're going to go back to basics. We're going to go to the camping shop, we're going to have a budget, and we're going to buy everything that we need to get out there and enjoy a great weekend out camping. So let's get over to the camping shop. The weather absolutely sucks today. Rainy, windy, not a very nice day at all. But that makes it the perfect day to go shopping. So today we're heading to my favorite camping shop, Tent World. Now there's 2 reasons that Tent World is my favorite camping shop. The first reason is they have a really wide variety of stuff. Like, you go into the other camping shops and they have maybe 1 or 2 of each product. Go into Tent World, they usually have 3 or 4. You can pick and choose, find the best one that works for you. So that's one reason I really like them. The second reason I like them is they're really competitively priced. And just to give you guys an example, I love life straws, use these things all the time, they're just awesome. You walk into any camping shop and want a life straw, they're normally $40. Walk into Tent World, $30 straight off the shelf. And that's just one example of many products that they have that are really competitively priced. So for this video, I got in touch with Tent World. I said, guys, I want to go camping on a $400 budget to show everyone that it is affordable and it can be done. Do you guys want to get on board with this video and sponsor it? And they said yes. So massive thanks to Tent World for coming on board with this video and making it happen. So let's go do some shopping for 400 bucks. That's the limit, 400 bucks. I can't buy the whole shop apparently, so. I tell you what, I've always wanted one of these camp chairs. I just can't figure out where the heck you'd actually need something so big. Now, I could spend all day in this camping shop, but I'm on a mission. I'm going to try and stay focused, get what I need and get out of here. Otherwise, I'll be here all day. So when you think of camping, what's one of the first things that you think of? Well, a tent. And there's a stack of different tents here. But today we're on a budget, so we're going to go for a budget option. Now this one here, $35, looks like the goods, but the reason I don't like tents like these is they don't have this little annex out the front now. This little annex out the front just makes life so much easier, gives you somewhere to hide if it's raining as well. You can always cook out in the front little annex area as well. Now the cool thing about these is they're a double layer tent, unlike that one up there, that's a pop-up tent up there. And the trouble with them is the single layer tents just aren't as good with the condensation, especially seeing as it is winter at the moment. A double skin tent's going to give you much better ventilation and less condensation. Now the first time I ever went camping was in a tent very, very similar to the one that I'm grabbing today. I'll actually put up a photo now, like back in 2006 I think it was, first time I ever went camping in a tent just like this. So these tents work perfectly fine to get you started in camping. Now there's only one little thing about these tents. The pegs that they come with are really, really flimsy. Now I haven't actually seen them, but I just know because they always do come with flimsy pegs. So I'm going to grab 6 of these little super pegs. These are going to get us by in hard ground instead of the other ones, which will probably bend the second we use them. So grab 6 of these. In my opinion, there's just one thing that you shouldn't cheap out on if you're going camping for the first time, even if you're on a budget, and that's your air mattress. Because the thing is, if you buy a cheap mattress, they're so likely to get punctured, they always do, and then you end up on the ground in the middle of the night. So personally, I reckon you should spend a little bit more on your air mattress. This Coleman one, I've used one of these for a 1-month trip and it lasted me the whole trip. They do cost a little bit more. This one costs $55, but if you look after them, they'll last you a long, long time. So if we got an air mattress, that means we need an air pump. So you can blow them up just using your breath, but it takes forever and it's just not worth it. Trust me, I've been there, I've done that. So how about this Roman 12-volt pump for $15? Sounds good to me. So we've got a mattress, now we just need a sleeping bag. Now there are a stack of different sleeping bags that you can choose from $30 right up to over $200. So today, unfortunately, we are on a little bit of a budget. So I'm thinking of going for this $40 hooded sleeping bag. It's a 0-degree rated sleeping bag. Now usually what I personally use is a -5 in the winter months and a +5 in the summer months. So this 0-degree sleeping bag should get us by for this time of year, hopefully. You can always take a few extra blankets just to rug up if it is particularly cold. And it's also got a hood on it, so that virtually goes over the top of your head, and if you close that right up, it gets you really nice and warm. So this one should do us for 40 bucks. Now what else do we need? Cooking stuff. So we need to keep our food cold. How are we going to do that? Well, it may be really tempting just to grab a cooler like one of these. They're quite cheap and affordable. Or you might have an esky that's laying around the house. But what I would really recommend is grabbing an ice box like one of these. Now, an ice box like this is really well insulated and they will keep your food cold for days on end, especially if you don't open them too much. Now, another reason that I'm really going for this one here is because it's got a bung on it. Now, having a bung on it is great because as the water develops, you can just get rid of it really, really easily. Some of the other brands I have here don't have bungs on them, so that's why I'm going for this one here. Now, unfortunately, proper ice boxes are quite expensive as well, but there is a good thing. They double as a camp chair if you don't have one. But this one here, 33 litres for $99, it should do the job perfectly. So we've got somewhere to keep the food cold, now we need something to cook the food on. Now there are a stack of different gas stoves available on the market. My personal favourite is the Coleman Triton gas stove. I think they're a fantastic unit. Unfortunately, all of these are a little bit out of our price range for this trip. And the other thing is all of these gas stoves need either a big gas bottle or an expensive gas cartridge to use them. Now this single burner gas stove is the way to go. $30, very cheap, great entry level gas stove. And the gas cartridges are only $6 for a pack of 4, so this is going to be the go. But the thing is, you don't really want to be using one of these on the ground, so let's grab a table as well. Do you guys see what I mean about variety? Like, I've never seen so many camp tables in all my life, except for in this store. Now today we are on a little bit of a budget unfortunately, but there's still some really good budget options here to look at, so I'll show you guys what I'm going to grab. Now these tables here, they're pretty cool because they have storage underneath and things like that, but they're just really wobbly, so I'll show you guys what I much prefer to use. I much prefer this style of table. These ones are really, really solid. They can handle more weight, and this one's actually cheaper than the other one as well. Only minus is it doesn't have the little storage, but this one's definitely the taker for me. I tell you what, it's really nice that they have these toilets in store for the customers. Oh, it's really good. Bit weird how there was no flushing water in the little system there though. Now camp chairs, as nice as it would be to grab one of these $130 recliner camp chairs and have a nice little snooze, it's a little bit out of the budget, so let's get something a little bit more budget friendly. Nope, 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 nope. 20 bucks, that'll do. Well, at least it's better than sitting on the ground, I'll tell you that. I tell you guys what though, I'm seriously thinking about spending the rest of the day right here. This is good. So the last thing I need to pick up, guys, is a headlamp, but I can't decide between the wombat and the koala, but the staff here at Tent World are very helpful. Deb, what do you reckon?
Definitely the crocodile.
The crocodile? Oh, okay, we'll do the crocodile. No, that does look pretty mean. Thanks, Deb. Don't tell Deb, but I actually decided to go for one of the Coleman headlamps. That was a little bit practical. Awesome. Thank you very much, Deb.
No problem at all. Good luck with your trip and your video.
Yeah, oh, it'll be interesting. Going back to basics. I tell you what, this almost feels like stealing. So to be perfectly honest with you guys, we did go a little bit over budget by $17. But thanks to Tent World, we now have everything that we need to go camping and enjoy the great outdoors. So all we got left to do is go food shopping, grab a few things from home and hit the road. Let's do it. I'm just heading into the shops to grab the food for the trip. Now, I'm not going to bore you guys too much with everything that I'm buying, but if you are interested, there is a link in the description to the planning document for this trip. Some bloke from Queensland called Adam bought 10 of the Seek Adventure stickers. I have no idea what you're going to do with all of them, mate, but thanks for supporting the channel. Now, some people might be wondering why I didn't grab a water jerry can from the camping shop. Well, mainly because it was out of the budget. But a couple of these 10-litre containers should do me just fine. They're $4 each, which is pretty cheap. And the cool thing about them is that they usually last a couple of camping trips, so you can actually reuse them. That's the shopping all done, and we spent $70 and we saved $2.60. Thanks, Woolies. I don't think I've actually told you guys what vehicle I'm taking on this trip. Well, I'm actually taking this. So my parents have very kindly let me borrow their run around town car because I don't actually have a two-wheel drive, and all they said I had to do was put new tyres on it, get it fully serviced, pay the vehicle registration for a year and bring it back with a full tank of fuel. So I thought that was very reasonable. No, I'm just kidding. But there's just one thing we need to do to this car to make it ready for a Seek adventure. Does that even make sense? Anyway. Awesome stuff. This car's ready to seek adventure. Awesome. I'm actually getting pretty excited about this trip. It's going to be good fun. So everything's packed. If you want to see exactly what I've taken, it'll all be in the planning document down in the description. So tomorrow, all I got left to do is chuck in all the cold stuff into the icebox from the fridge. And at the moment, I've got 4 2-litre milk bottles full of water in the freezer. And that's going to be virtually what keeps the icebox cold. And later tonight, I'm going to chuck in one of those bottles to start cooling the icebox down. So tomorrow, when everything gets chucked in there, it'll already be nice and cool in there. So I'll see you guys tomorrow morning. Good morning, guys. So all I got left to do this morning is chuck my food in the icebox and then we're ready to hit the road. Let's do this. Okay guys, so I got my 3 frozen water bottles in there. Now I'm going to put my meat down the very bottom. So the meat's obviously the thing that you want to stay cold the best. I'll put an ice pack over that and then everything else just around it pretty much. Awesome stuff. Does this make any sense to you guys, leaving a perfectly good four-wheel drive at home to take a vehicle like this on a trip? This is our first stopover for our trip, the little coastal town of Lancelin. Now Lancelin's pretty much known for 2 things. The massive sand dune system right next to the town, very popular for motorbike riding and sandboarding, and also they have great surf out here as well. There's some good reefs out there too. So now that we're out camping, what are we going to do? What do you do out camping? Well, it's a great time to do all of the outdoor activities that you love to do, whether that's kicking around the soccer ball, bushwalking, mountain bike riding, fishing, kayaking, snorkeling, the list goes on. Use your imagination, whatever you love to do outdoors, you can probably do it out camping. So what am I going to do? Well, ever since I've been coming to Lancelin, and I've probably been here about, I don't know, 15 times, 20 times, something like that, I've always thought to myself, man, I've got to get out to that island, and I've just never done it. So today I'm going to finally get over to that island. So how are we going to get over to the island? With this. This is a stand-up paddleboard, and if you haven't tried stand-up paddleboarding, give it a go out and hire one somewhere and just give it a shot because it is so much fun. And this one here, it's actually inflatable, so it's just so compact and so easy to store. As you can see, I don't have a roof rack on this trip. I still managed to fit it in the car, no dramas at all. And this one here, it's from this company called Goose Hill. Now, when I was researching stand-up paddleboards, I was on the forums and somebody recommended Goose Hill as a good company for beginner stand-up paddleboards and said that the quality was pretty good. And I've got to say, the quality of this thing is insane. Like, you know how back in the day you used to get like little inflatable dinghies and they were so flimsy and just terrible. When you inflate this, it's like a proper board. It is so firm, it's ridiculous. I'll show you guys when I inflate this. One of the things that really got me onto this stand-up paddleboard was the price. It was half the price of every other stand-up paddleboard that I looked into. And another thing, they had free international shipping, which I thought was pretty awesome. Now, stand-up paddleboarding is pretty much a whole body workout. I mean, the first time I used this thing, I felt the muscles in my lower back the next day, believe me. And even from the time of pumping it up, it is a great workout. So let's get a 4.5 minute workout pumping this thing up. Can you guys believe that this thing gets inflated to 10 PSI? It's insane. The pump that comes with the stand-up paddleboard actually has a pressure gauge inbuilt into the top of it, so you can actually see what the pressure's sitting at. So right now we're sitting at 10 PSI, which is usually pretty good. So how solid is it when it's pumped up? How about that? Like, it is just rock solid. Now all we need to do is put our paddle together And just like that, in about 5 minutes, out of a small bag like that, we've managed to get ourselves a full-size paddleboard. And I've got to say, it always blows me away how something so large is so light. All right, let's get over to that island. Well, I've got onto the island safe and sound. I managed not to stack it, but man, as I was getting close to the island, I don't know if you'll be able to see it in the drone footage, hopefully you will, but there was this seal that just appeared, and man, it scared the living daylights out of me, hey. Oh, good thing I didn't stack it, but it would have been a funny shot if I did. I tell you what, they really got creative when they were naming this island, hey. They must have thought long and hard about that one. Hang on. Unexplored bomb risk. Far out. Who would have thought this island's so dangerous? There's a lot of information on this island about birds and all the different birds that you get around here. So if you're interested in that kind of thing, might be the place to come for you. Pretty cool little island. The sun's finally decided to come out, which is awesome. There's just a little bay around the corner that I saw on the drone, so I might just go check that out before I head back to the mainland. And I love it when the sun's out, because the coolest thing about the stand-up paddleboard is when there's nice sun, you can see all of the reef and everything because you're so high up. I love sea kayaking as well, but the thing with sea kayaking is because you're so close to the water, you actually can't see what's underneath you. While with the stand-up paddleboard, you're so high up, you can see everything. It's just awesome. What a sweet little bay. This is where it always goes bad, trying to get back into shore. That is one very cool island, and there's some really cool reefs out there too, so I'm definitely going to have to get out there one day and do some snorkeling. But guys, if you haven't tried stand-up paddleboarding, give it a shot. It is awesome fun. Go and hire one, give it a shot. And if you are interested in the particular one that I was using, I'll put a link in the description down below. Okay, let's hit the bakery. Look, I know this is a bit lame, but it gets me every time. Now when you come to a town like this, it's pretty much illegal to not visit the bakery. I mean, I'm pretty sure the police can actually issue an infringement if you don't visit the bakery. So let's get in there and get some tucker. I tell you guys what, it's not that often that you get these beautiful windless days in these coastal towns like this. So when it happens, you've got to make the most of it. Alright guys, let's head into the sand dunes and check them out. I've just come up to this river crossing. Now normally in my four-wheel drive this wouldn't be an issue, but because I'm in a two-wheel drive vehicle I might walk it first. It doesn't seem too deep, so we should be alright. Alright guys, let's try and not get bogged, hey? Woo! Hey, how you going? Yeah, I just want to borrow one of these. Alright, awesome. Thank you very much. Just hired one of these sandboards for 10 bucks. These things are so much fun. Let's do it. You can see that weather behind me. Weather's starting to turn. Might get a few showers this afternoon. So I got to make the most of it while it's still dry. Man, I'm just feeling a sprinkle now. That's the end of our sandboarding because I think it's gonna rain in a second. Like it's gonna pour. I sure chose a good place to park the car. All the tourists around it. All right guys, I can't help myself. I'm gonna give this sand dune a go. What's the worst that can happen, right? The sand's pretty wet, so we should be, yeah. Walk in the park. Well, that was awesome fun. If you guys ever want a good day out, head up to Lancelin. It's only like an hour and a half away from Perth, and you can do quad bike tours, hire quad bikes, hire a sandboard, or just walk around the sand dunes. I mean, it's pretty different scenery to what you normally see, so it's just something different. All right, guys, must be time to head to camp. So let me tell you guys something. It's pretty rare for me to stay in caravan parks. I don't like staying in caravan parks. I love being in the bush. That's what I enjoy. But for this video, I thought I'd show you guys two different styles of camping. So this is glamping, flushing toilets, showers, all that kind of stuff. Tomorrow night, we're gonna do it a bit more properly with a designated camping area. But tonight, I'm gonna suffer for the YouTube channel and camp in a caravan park. What am I doing? That's our prime block of real estate. Well, I can pretty much see the beach from my campsite if I stand up here, so that's pretty sweet. Just love it how there's no wind. This barely ever happens, hey. All right guys, first things first, we gotta set up the tent. So I found a hammer in the shed. It's not great, but it'll do the job. So when it comes to camping, this is normally when most arguments start, but most dome tents are pretty easy to set up once you know how to do it. Do you guys see what I mean about flimsy pegs? There's no comparison. So for starters, all you need to do is virtually just spread the tent out, figure out where you want the door to be, and then just peg it down in the four corners. How easy is that? So now what you want to do is get your poles and you want to extend all of them out, and you want to figure out which ones are the two longest poles, which in this case is pretty easy because there's different sizes right there. So now all you got to do is find the little loop in the center of the tent, and all you got to do is just push both of your poles through that little loop. Awesome. Then you just got to find the little prong at the ends here where it's pegged and put the end of the pole into the prong. Okay, and once the tent's like this, what you want to do is start putting some of these little hooks on. So they're pretty simple to set up, not really much to them at all. And bam, just like that, you got your inner frame all set up. Now we just got to put the rain cover on. And what you need to try and find is the zips for the front of the annex. So you can see them there. So that's going to be the front of the tent here. I tell you guys what, I haven't set up one of these tents for years. Awesome stuff. Now all you got to do is find these little hooks and just put them onto the rings where it's pegged. Now just get your last pole and extend it all out. And then you're just looking for like a little sleeve that it slips into. So you just find the end of that and just feed the pole through. And again, just find the little pin that it goes into. Now we just need to peg this out, and then that's pretty much the tent done. Now, if it was really windy, you would want to pull all the guy ropes out and put pegs the whole way around it, but seeing as it's not very windy at the moment, I'm not terribly worried about it. I might live to regret that later though, we'll find out. All right guys, let's inflate our air mattress. So generally it's a good idea to try and keep this away from anything that could potentially puncture it. It goes a long way. And remember, air pumps always work better if you turn the car on. Now some people don't quite understand how these valves work, but the easiest way to actually seal it once you're done pumping it is just to push it in. So I'll show you guys. So the air's coming out at the moment. And when you're done, just push it in. So when you're done, you're happy with the pressure, just push it in and then it seals off, and then just put this secondary little plug over it and you're done. I hope this mattress actually fits in this tent. Oh, look at that, perfect. So everybody's different and everybody's used to sleeping on different mattresses. So I can't tell you what air pressure is going to work best for you, but I can tell you how I figure it out. So the way I do it is if I can just touch the ground when I push down in the center of the mattress, that's the right pressure for me. So for me, this mattress is way too hard, so I'm going to release a little bit of air. Okay, so I can just barely touch the ground when I push down with my whole body weight in the center. So that's how I know that this mattress is a good pressure for me. So I should hopefully get a decent night's sleep on this. Yeah, that's pretty comfy. I'm happy with that. So, what kind of facilities can you expect at a caravan park? Well, usually flushing toilet, hot showers, a laundry, a camp kitchen. They've actually got a really nice new camp kitchen here, and I'll just quickly show you guys inside the ablution block, as they call it, to see what it's like. It's looking like it's going to be a pretty sweet sunset, so I might hit the beach, go for a walk, and after that we'll get some dinner happening and cook up a storm. Alright guys, let's get some dinner happening. So tonight for dinner I'm doing a very simple but a very yummy meal. Sweet and sour chicken noodles, and the ingredients are so simple. Chicken, capsicum, red onion, some pineapple pieces, sweet and sour noodle sauce, and some noodles. So first up, all I'm going to do is dice up the chicken, cut up the capsicum and the onion, and then we'll go from there. So one tip I do have for you guys, if it is a bit windy and using these gas stoves, use the cover from the gas stove to actually protect it from the wind. So that's what I'm doing here. All right, let's get this capsicum in there. A little bit of oil. That was probably way too much capsicum, but that's all right. All right, now I'm just gonna cut up this onion and put that in there as well. Okay, onion's all cut up. I'm gonna chuck that in the fry pan as well. Try and get most of it in there at least. Now I just need to dice up this chicken. So the chicken's all diced up, ready to go. Now I'm just gonna wait for this to cook down a bit. That's cooked down fairly nicely, so I'm gonna go ahead and add the chicken. Well, that's looking pretty good. Chicken looks like it's all cooked through. So next we're gonna add the sweet and sour sauce. So that's pretty easy, you know, chuck it in. And also our pineapple pieces. Man, is there anything better in the world than pineapple juice? Oh, it's so good. Oh, that was awesome. All right, we'll chuck that in as well. Give that a good stir through and let it all kind of simmer together. So that's been simmering for a couple of minutes now, so that looks good to go. So last step, simple as, we just got to chuck the noodles in. And with these noodles, you don't actually need to cook them, they just need to be warmed up virtually. So just chuck them in there, give them a good mix around, and they're done. Well, that is looking pretty edible right now, so I'm going to call it done. So you might be wondering, how the heck am I going to eat all of that? Well, I'm not. So I've got this container here, so I'm going to fill this up with whatever I don't eat today, and this is going to be lunch for tomorrow. I really like this dish. It's so simple and you have barely anything in your fridge. There's only 3 items in the fridge, and that's why it's so cool, because it's so tasty and so simple. All right guys, well, I'm going to eat up, go do the dishes in the camp kitchen, have a shower, and hit the sack. So we'll see you guys tomorrow for some more adventures. So here's a little expert tip for you guys. When you're laying in bed in the morning and you don't feel like getting out of bed, this is the best thing to do. Pull out your plug and just lay there, because eventually you hit the ground and it gets uncomfortable pretty fast, and then you kind of get to the point where you're like, yeah, I should really just get out of bed because this isn't comfortable. It also helps to let your air mattress down, eh? Just a little tip for you guys. Let's get some breakfast happening. I tell you what, there's this little damn bird that keeps wanting to get into my bread. Anyway, what are we doing for breakfast this morning? We're doing bacon and eggs. Super easy, super yummy, but I also got a couple of hash browns as well, so that always makes it stacks nicer. So it's pretty simple. Chuck the bacon in, chuck some tomatoes in there as well, get it cooking. That's looking just about done in my opinion. Should I put oil on or not? Should be alright. What's the worst that can happen, right? You can sure tell your stove's on a bit of an angle when all your eggs run to one side. A little bit of salt and pepper never goes astray. Alright, this is when it's all gonna go pear-shaped. The flip. Oh yeah, that one's alright. How about this one? Oh, sweet. Just get those hash browns cooking and we're done. Breakfast is served and that looks pretty awesome. So I'm gonna eat this, pack up camp, and let's head out of here. We're gonna do a little bit of sightseeing today and it's gonna be an awesome day. The sun's just come out, which is great. So we'll hit the road right after I get into this. I've got to say, I've been really impressed with this caravan park. For 15 bucks, their facilities were fantastic, and I couldn't recommend this caravan park enough. But there's just one thing I got to do before I leave. And to all those people saying you should act your age, I don't want to. All right, let's hit the road. We are at Namberg National Park, so we're just going to check out the Pinnacles Discovery Centre and have a look inside. This is all a bit fancier since last time I was here. Fancy buildings and everything. They even have bush cockroaches in the collection here. They've got just about everything. Snakes, bandicoots, ticks even. Saw a tick over there. So what did I learn? Well, not a whole lot really, because even the scientists can't quite figure out how the pinnacles are formed. But anyway, they're awesome to check out, so let's go do that. Well, this is the closest to forward driving that we're gonna get on this trip. I mean, besides the sand dunes yesterday anyway. Oh, whoa. There's a bit of a rock in the track. Might just check it out, make sure I can get over it. I reckon if I straddle it, it'll be alright. There you go, no dramas at all. Never hurts to check. Well, if you guys have never checked out the Pinnacles and you live in Perth, it's something worth doing. I mean, it's so unique, the scenery. It's just something different, something to do on a weekend sometime. I'm just grabbing out my lunch to let it warm up a bit before I get to Jurien Bay. I'll just leave that on the dash, and by the time we get there, hopefully it'll be a bit warmer than it is. Just pulled into Jurien Bay, and the big question is to bakery or not to bakery. Yeah, I better bakery. I don't want to get an infringement notice from the police. Thank you. See ya. I tell you guys what, that apple turnover from the bakery was just awesome. So good. Anyway, on our way to camp now. Tonight we're staying at the Sandy Cape Recreational Camping Area, something like that. I think that's what it's called. I've never actually been there, but it looks like a really nice spot right on the ocean, and there's a nice little cape right next to it. So hopefully I can chuck in the paddleboard and go for a paddle. Sun's still out, blue skies, awesome. So last night I paid $15 for hot showers, flushing toilets, a camp kitchen and everything. Tonight I'm paying $20 for toilets, and I don't even know if they're flushing. So I guess we'll find out. What an awesome little bay. How sweet is that? They have a stack of different campsites here. You virtually just keep driving around until you find one that you like. So I found a little spot here, nice and tucked up out of the wind. I'm gonna set up camp quickly and get that paddleboard into the water because it looks so nice out there. So if you guys have been watching this video and thinking to yourself, man, I'd really love to try camping, but I've got no camping gear. Well, here's your chance. As I mentioned at the start of this video, Tent World very kindly sponsored this video with all of this equipment that you guys see in front of you. But the thing is, I don't actually need all of this stuff. Like, I've got a full forward drive that's set up as you guys saw at the start of the video. So I've actually got no use for all of this stuff. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna run a competition and you can enter to win it. And if you wanna know how to enter, tomorrow, the day after this video is released, there will be a video telling you guys exactly what you need to do to enter the competition. So look out for that video if you actually want all of this camping gear. So it pretty much has the basics to get you started. As you do more camping, you'll kind of go, hey, I want this or I want that, and you can just keep building on it and get better and better stuff if you really enjoy camping. But anyway, guys, just thought I'd let you know that, so look out for the video tomorrow if you are interested. All right, let's go paddleboarding. So what are we cooking for dinner tonight? Nachos. Good hearty meal, simple, easy, and very doable on the butane gas stove. So what do we need? 500 grams of beef mince, 1 brown onion, taco seasoning, grated cheese, sour cream, some tomato paste, crushed tomatoes, and some corn chips, and some salsa. I totally didn't forget the salsa, all right? Okay, first things first, let's cut the onion. Now, I don't know if everybody knows how to cut an onion, but I actually didn't know the best way to cut an onion myself until I watched, what's that guy that yells a lot at people? Is it Gordon Ramsay or is it somebody else? Anyway, one of the chefs, he said the best way to cut an onion is to not cut the root because then it starts bleeding. And when it starts bleeding, you start crying. So the best thing to do is to leave the root and then just simply cut towards the root, but don't cut the whole way so that the onion actually stays together. And I've been doing it ever since I learned it, and it's a fantastic way to cut an onion. So once you've done that, just cut in like that, and then just hold the onion nice and tight, and just cut it. And then this way you get really nice and fine bits of onion. If you like chunky onion, man, that's just weird. And just like that, I've managed to cut a whole onion without crying, so that's a bit of an achievement, I reckon. Now, one thing I do want to say about these butane gas stoves is that when the gas level in the cartridges gets low, they become pretty much useless. I mean, it's okay if you don't mind waiting 5 minutes for your kettle to boil, but when they start getting low, they really slow down. So this one's getting a little bit empty, so I'm just going to chuck a new one in. So it's pretty important to have quite a few of these if you are using a butane stove, because when the levels get low, they just kind of really slow down. Okay, so the pan's nice and hot. Going to chuck the onion in there and cook that until it's nice and brown. Well, that onion's looking pretty good, so I'm going to go ahead and chuck in the beef mince and also the taco seasoning and some extra salt and pepper too. That meat's looking pretty cooked, so I'm going to add in the tomato paste and the crushed tomatoes. Now, usually when I try and use these pull tabs, they usually break on me, so let's see if I'm going to be lucky today. Yeah, boy. Give that a good mix around, and dinner's almost ready. One thing that I do have to say is I have been very impressed with this little head torch. This Coleman head torch, the optics in it are so good. It not only gives you a fair bit of distance, but it also gives you a little bit of spread as well. And yeah, for under 20 bucks, I've been very impressed with it because I was expecting it to be pretty pathetic, to be honest. I'm used to a really expensive head torch that's rechargeable and all that kind of stuff, but for 20 bucks, this head torch has been awesome. And some of you guys are saying, hang on a minute, you've got all these lights here. Well, when I'm not filming for the cooking, I actually have been using it, just so you know. Just saying, all right? Well, that's looking pretty much done. And it tastes awesome. Let's serve it up. Now, I'm the kind of person that likes to have deconstructed nachos. I'm not really a fan of putting the corn chips underneath, because then the corn chips go soggy and that's just not cool, you know? But hey, you can do your nachos however you like, you know? All right, well, that's dinner done. I'm just boiling some water to have a nice warm cup of tea and also to do the dishes. Now, when you go to the camping shop, you're gonna see all sorts of fancy kettles, and they are great because they pour easily and you can put them on the fire, things like that. But if you're just starting out with camping, to keep it cheap, you can just use a pot with a lid on it. It does exactly the same job, except it's not so easy to pour. But anyway, all right guys, well, we'll see you guys tomorrow morning, eh? We live such hectic lives that we very rarely get the chance just to stop and take in the beauty of a sunrise. And I tell you what, ever since I read that quote, at least once a year I try and get up early, even though I hate getting up early, come up to somewhere really spectacular and just stop and take in the beauty. Well, unfortunately guys, that brings us to the end of this trip. So to answer the question that we posed at the start of this video, what do you actually need to go camping? Well, virtually a bunch of stuff from Tent World, a couple of items from home, some food from the shops, a vehicle, and some mates, which is the only thing that I forgot to bring on this trip. If you have those 5 things, you're pretty much all set to have an awesome time in the great outdoors. Now, besides that guys, depending when you're watching this video, you can enter the competition to win all of the camping gear that was provided by Tent World. Once again, massive thanks to Tent World for coming on board and sponsoring the camping gear for this video, making it happen. Besides that guys, Seek Adventure is actually on Instagram now. I've had people for ages asking me, are you on Instagram? Well, now we are, so go ahead and follow that if you want to. I don't know why people keep asking, but anyway, besides that guys, get out there, enjoy the great outdoors, especially in Australia. We have so many beautiful locations, from the beaches down south here, up to the Kimberley up north, or even the East Coast. Anyway guys, we'll see you guys in a different video. Thanks for watching, catch you later. Give me heat. Seek Adventure.